Hey everyone, Malleus here, and welcome to Malleus Gaming. Today in Total Tactics, we're going to be talking about utilizing alpha strikes to gain an immediate advantage over your opponent and help you easily win your battles with some careful planning. For anyone new here, I'll first be discussing the tactic itself and then demonstrate its use within the game, in this case, with the new High Elf Sea Patrol from the upcoming Tides of Torment DLC for Total War Warhammer 3. Special thanks to Creative Assembly for the early access, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. The term Alpha Strike was originally coined by the United States Navy during the Vietnam War, and refers to a large attack from the air wing of an aircraft carrier. Such a strike would typically utilize about half of the carrier's available aircraft, which would be equipped to engage a specific high-priority target. In short, an alpha strike can be deemed as a use of overwhelming force in order to cripple the enemy's capabilities by eliminating specific assets of theirs. While an alpha strike can be highly effective in putting an opponent on the back foot by quickly eliminating important targets, it can, however, potentially leave the user vulnerable to a counterattack should the strike fail in its objective. As an aside, prior to researching about this, I was not aware of the link with the US Navy and aircraft carriers, but it is really fitting for how the High Elf Sea Patrol operates in the game. This battle is from a very hard difficulty campaign as Aislin's High Elf Sea Patrol, and I'm trying to take Marienburg from some filthy Norscan barbarians. My army leaders are Aislinn the Sea Lord, mounted on a Star Dragon, who, once leveled up, can oh so helpfully grant the entire army Vanguard deployment. I also have a Mist Mage, who are primarily support casters that have a heavy emphasis on buffs and debuffs, affecting stats such as Vigor, Speed, Missile Resistances, and Leadership. My infantry consists of 3 units of Ship's Company, which are a more offensive-based Tier 1 unit as compared to High Elf Spearmen. Under Aislin's Sea Patrol, they are a very cost-efficient unit, as they benefit from significant upkeep reduction and a multitude of buffs such as increased physical resistance, increased ward saves, and additional melee attack and defense bonuses with increased veterancy. With all the upgrades you can stack onto them, they can easily be viable even into the late game. I've also got 9 units of Lothern Sea Guard with shields, which are just very solid defensive line units, and really should make up the core of any Sea Patrol army. Under Aislinn, they benefit from a significant 20% increase to their missile strength. Lastly, for infantry, I've got a unit of monstrous infantry, the Oceanids. Oceanids? I don't know how to pronounce it. This unit boasts a significant physical resistance, melee defense, weapon strength, and the unbreakable trait. Despite not having armor, their high physical resistance makes them a very solid line holder unit, particularly against enemy troops with armor-piercing attacks. It can be countered by units with magical attacks though, and while they won't break, they can end up taking damage when losing a fight, similarly to the instability of undead and demons. Lastly, for the war machines of my army, I've got 2 units of Lothern Skycutters and 3 Repeater Bolt Throwers. The Skycutters are amazing units, being highly mobile flying chariots that can fire on the move. The units I have are the basic versions and are armed with Reaver bows, and they're really good at harassing enemy units and picking off isolated targets, like artillery. I can't say a whole lot about the Norscan roster since I haven't utilized them much as of the making of this video, but I was facing an army with a very strong cavalry contingent. They have a chieftain on a mammoth, 3 units of marauders with shields, a unit of berserkers, 2 units of bearmen with great weapons, a unit of spearmen, a unit of hunters, and then 10 units of cavalry, including 4 Kurgan horsemen with great weapons, 4 Kurgan horsemen with dual weapons, a unit of regular horsemen, and a unit of horse masters. The main army was rounded off with a unit of ice trolls. They also had reinforcements consisting of 3 more units of marauders with shields, 2 units of marauders with great weapons, another unit of marauder horsemen, and a unit of poison warhounds. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get to the fight. Here we are, guys, we're kicking it off right away. All these Norscan cavalry units on this flank here getting shot up near immediately by my checkerboard force of Lothern Sea Guard. Let's see if they're going to make it in for a charge. And they do. But then they're going to be breaking pretty much immediately. So, what is going on here, you might be asking? Well, as I said earlier, Aislinn lets the entire army Vanguard deploy once you reach a certain level. So I've deployed my units on the flank of the enemy army. They had, I think, like 6 units of cavalry or so. Good God, look at all those. Oh, look at all those poor horses. They had like 6 units or so of cavalry dedicated on this flank, and I decided I need to eliminate their mobility advantage as quickly as I can, or as quickly as I could. So I deployed my army upwards on their flank in formation. I got bolt throwers at the rear on this hill, and here they are unleashing another volley against more Marauder horsemen. I've got my sky cutters just advancing forward a bit, sort of scouting things out, doing some harassing, basically trying to get these guys more into range of my infantry. I've got, as you can see, this checkerboard of Northern Sea Guard, ship's company on the flanks, as well as the Oceanids, I think is what I'm going to go with. And then 2 more units of ship's company guarding the flank and rear of the formation. Basically, I'm going to be holding up, castling up, trying to pick apart the enemy. I've already done a tremendous amount of damage. The bar is way in my favor already. And now we're just advancing further up, using the sky cutters to harass the enemy army. The AI, I pretty much, I think, like, sort of panicked. Having my entire army on their flank made them want to redeploy, and then losing so many of their units. Here comes the chieftain on his mammoth. He can't do anything against the sky cutters, but the Marauder horsemen can. However, the sky cutters are fairly durable. They are chariots, basically. So as long as I don't let them take too much direct firepower, they should be good. They were putting some shots on the mammoth, and they did they do a fairly decent amount of damage against singular targets. So they take a chunk out of his health, but now the enemy army is in range of the bolt throwers, and they're just doing a general advance, sending out some remaining Kurgan horsemen to my flanks. I've deployed my Oceanids and ship's company to counter. Otherwise, just a general advance, opening fire with the Sea Guard. Trolls are getting absolutely wrecked. Sky cutters are trying to divert some units as best they can. So basically, I'm trying to make it so I don't fight the entire army all at once, picking them apart piece by piece. There goes another unit of Marauders. Second unit of Marauders is going to break soon. The Kurgan horsemen are engaged with the Oceanids, who have significant physical resistance, so they are not really going to care a whole lot about the physical damage coming in. Kurgan horsemen with great weapons attacking my ship's company. My units are fairly experienced, and I've got some decent upgrades with the tech and with Aislinn's traits. So the ship's company, they've got some decent physical resistance and some ward saves, melee defense, and melee attack. So they are doing pretty well for themselves. You can see they didn't really take any damage from that Kurgan charge, but here comes the Marauder chieftain on his mammoth. They're going to be doing some damage there. Flying Aislinn around, trying to get a good target for his flame breath. I've got the Mistmage on a Sky Cutter as well. Otherwise, the Norskins are kind of just bouncing off my army. Aislinn going in against the Mammoth. That's really the most significant threat to my army. So he's going to get ready to deal with that once he decides to land. Otherwise, there goes the Norscan army. They're starting to all routes. Army loss is kicking in. And I think that is it. They are all fleeing. This is quite the lovely little castle of Sea Guard I got here. And just taking out what's left at range. Love to see it. And here we are with the after-action battle report. As you can see, that was quite the massacre. My army took barely any losses, less than 100. I have one unit that's maybe lost a quarter of their health, not even. Another unit that is probably at like 60% health or so. Other than that, the Norskins were absolutely demolished. Multiple units wiped out. Their cavalry at the start, like a good portion of it probably, again, I'm estimating like 6 units or so, I didn't really count, just near instantaneously just evaporated, to the point that the army actually fled away. Like they didn't, like their units weren't routing, but they pulled back far away to redress their lines, reform their battle line, and then just ended up charging back at my almost entirely ranged army. So that gave me plenty of time to pick them apart, plenty of time to weaken them. I was able to pull some more units while they were redressing their ranks. I was able to pull more units in with my sky cutters, so I was able to weaken them even further. As for the Alpha Strike portion of this, yeah, Aislin's ability to Vanguard deploy the entire army is fantastic, especially with a range-heavy force. As you saw, like immediately, I didn't even get to start talking before like a bunch of the Marauder horsemen were all but wiped out. Immediately, like that was my key thing to take care of, because they had upward, I think like 10 units, 11 units in total of cavalry. I wasn't really worried about losing the battle, but I didn't want to take too many casualties. If anything, I was most worried about losing my bolt throwers to all of those horsemen. So by basically doing an alpha strike, like positioning myself so the entire army can focus on one small portion of their army, small but important portion of their army, and wipe it out. That definitely set the bar in my favor. The Sea Guard, I really love how they play. It's pretty much true to their tabletop. I mean, if anything, it's more powerful than they are in the tabletop. But being able to redeploy, deploy upwards, like doing ambushes like that, and just punishing your opponent with range firepower. I love that style of play. I can't wait to show you guys more, and let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see coming up. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, comment, subscribe, and share this to your friends, as it'd really help out the channel and get this video out there on the storm-racked tides of YouTube. Again, a huge thanks to Creative Assembly for granting me early access to the new Tides of Torment DLC. The High Elves are my absolute favorite faction, and I've been waiting years to be able to sail the seas and spread naval elven supremacy across the Warhammer world. Tides of Torment will be coming out December 4th, 2025, and until then, stay tuned for more videos. Let me know what else you'd like to see covered in the future, and I hope you have a great one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!